2024 Tour de France, Stage 10. Yes, it took us 10 days in to this Grand Tour until Jasper Philipsen, the Belgian of Team Alpecin-Deceuninck, took victory. Dominated the sprints last year with 4 stage wins in the green jersey. Today, a clean sprint, picking up victory ahead of Biniam Girmay, already 2 stage wins in this tour. German Pascal Ackermann of Team Israel Premier Tech, and Wout van Aert, the big Belgium of Team Visma-Lease-Bike, there in 4th place. They did a good lead out along with Alpecin-Deceuninck, and we'll talk about that here in a minute. But let's look at the stage because frankly, it was a bit of a boring stage until we got to those final kilometers. Early in the day, we had 2 men going free, Goossens and Van Moor. Goossens from Intermarché picked up the intermediate bonus points ahead of Van Moor. Then came the peloton. It was Jasper Philipsen already indicating he was on a good day, taking 3rd place, picking up the green jersey points there. A bit of a dodgy sprint, but he did it. Then we saw this puncture. We thought it was going to be another day of punctures for Jonas Vingegaard. Punctured, quickly got back on a new bike or a new wheel. 187 kilometers out there on the day. At one point, the winds did play a part. Around about 60 kilometers out, we had some change in direction in the race. UAE, Team Visma-Lease-Bike, UAE on one side, on the right-hand side, and Visma-Lease-Bike over on the left. Drag racing through the corners. It was UAE Team Emirates with race leader Tadej Pogačar in the yellow jersey taking control, but we never saw any cracks in the peloton, any echelons formed, any splits in the bunch. Instead, it was a little bit of acceleration, a little bit of stress, and then calm back down, and it stayed that way all the way until about the final 10 kilometers. We had a little bit of a moment with Arnaud de Leede, the Belgian national champion, and also a sprint hope here in the 2024 Tour de France, hoping to pick up a stage win in his debut ride. He had a quick wheel change, a cyclocross style type stop, back on his bike, getting back up to the peloton, no problemo for our Belgian friend. Another crucial point was going to be around 15 kilometers to go, another change in direction on the race course, potential for splits, crosswinds, but no, if you're tuning in, you didn't see any action there. Instead, it was coming down to those final kilometers, into the final 10K. Today was the 4-kilometer rule. At that point, the GC riders could be safe, could be out of trouble. And we saw Team Astana of Mark Cavendish, who's already won 1 stage here in his 35th career victory, up at the front. We saw EF Education, Nilsen Paulus riding up at the front, really taking control for their sprinter, Marin Vandenberg, and of course Astana working with Cavendish. But at some point we saw his lead out man Deluxe, who's retiring after the end of a long career at the end of this season, Michael Morkov. He pulled off, looked around, hey Mark Cavendish, where are you, buddy? Well, he was further back there, sitting on, I believe, the Cofidis rider, Brian Cocard. I think he was sitting on his wheel. They were bumping shoulders coming into the sprint. But up front, it was Alpecin-Deceuninck up there in the double denim, the gray double denim kit, racing at the front. And also, you might get them confused because the kits look very similar in the Renaissance kit, Visma-Lease-Bike, that kind of blue dark gray kit. Up there also the European champion, Christophe Laporte, who's with Team Visma-Lease-Bike, but in the white and blue European Championship jersey, leading out for Wout van Aert. We had a left-hand turn, a big right-hand turn, and then that final left into the final 400 meters, and it was our world champion, Mathieu van der Poel, leading a strong lead out, what we saw last year in all the sprints for Jasper Philipsen. Today, it was coming back. He was coming back on his best form. We hadn't seen it yet 9 days into this Tour de France, but on the 10th day, Van der Poel delivers what was a clean sprint for Jasper Philipsen. We were all worried if he could pull off a clean sprint, but clean sprint he did. He held it down the right-hand side, forcing his rivals, if they could come around, to come around on the left. We saw a charge of Biniam Girmay, Pascal Ackermann. What a nice sprint by him. And Wout van Aert just doesn't seem to have that same kick that he had before the crash in the Dwarfs-Dwarf-Landern, but it was Jasper Philipsen hitting the release valve on the pressure cooker that is the Tour de France. All the pressure was building up around him, especially after the disqualification the other day when he was finishing second and regulated to the back of the sprint group. Today, finally, he pulled it off after 4 stage wins in the green jersey last year. He really wanted to do it again in the Tour de France this year, and it was thank you to Mathieu van der Poel, thank you to the world champion, Søren Kragh Andersen, all the Alpecin-Deceuninck boys pulling together. One of the smaller budget teams, but spending a lot of money on riders like Van der Poel, on riders like Jasper Philipsen, hoping it'll pay off, and today it did. We saw Van der Poel on the gravel stage, and 2 days later, after the rest day, it's Jasper Philipsen taking the stage win. And Biniam Girmay, Although he didn't get the maximum points on the day, either at the intermediate sprint or at the stage finish, he still finished second on the day in that green jersey, looking great. Biniam Girmay, full of confidence every day. If Jasper Philipsen wants a crack at a second green jersey after the 2023 Tour de France and the 2024 Tour de France, he's gonna have to keep doing what he's doing and what he did today, winning stages. But today, it's not about the green jersey points for Jasper Philipsen, it's about winning a stage, and he did so. Biniam Girmay was smart. Intermarché was smart. They put the guy, Goossens, up there in the escape early on to get the maximum intermediate sprint points, so that aided away from Jasper Philipsen. Girmay is in the hunt and in the lead in the green jersey points competition, and we're gonna have to take it to another day to see how that unfolds with Girmay on top. But here in Saint-Amand-Montrond, it is Jasper Philipsen. They call him Jasper the Disaster, but today it's Jasper Master, winning stage 10 of the 2024 Tour de France.